truss is a structural system modeled by axial members connected by pins. This photo shows a real-life example of a truss bridge for easier understanding. The truss example that follows exists of only 3 axial members which are connected by pins. The truss must be supported by some kind of reaction forces. Reactions are forces that resist external forces on a structural system. There is a force applied at the top pin of this example truss, as shown, of 500 newtons. Note that external forces can only be applied to a truss at a pin or joint. First, we need to establish our reaction forces. The pin support resists a force in the X and a force in the Y directions. The roller resists a force only in the Y direction. Brad is assuming that all of these forces are in positive directions. Truss system is statically determinate because there are 3 unknown forces and 3 equations of equilibrium in 2D. Sum of the forces in the X direction equals 0. The sum of the forces in the Y direction equals 0. The sum of the moment about a point equals 0. It is best to start by summing moments about point A because this equation leaves us with only one unknown. The reaction forces at point A pass through point A, so there is no moment created. 500 Newton force creates a 500 Newton times 2 meter moment about point A. This moment is negative since counterclockwise is assumed to be the positive direction for moments. The reaction force at B is the only other force that causes a moment about a point A. The distance from point A to the reaction force at point B is 2 meters. We know that the moment will be positive, 2 meters times force of the reaction B, since there is direction in counterclockwise. Now we must solve for the reaction forces at point A. To do this, we will sum forces in the Y direction. They are drawn to be in the positive direction. Since their sum has to equal 0, we know that the reaction at point A will be negative, but of equal magnitude, as to reaction B sub Y. The last unknown to solve for in this reaction is at point A in the X direction. There are 2 positive forces in the X direction, A sub X and the 500 Newton force. So this means that A sub X has to equal negative 500 newtons. Change the directions of the reaction force arrows to match the sign convention of the answers you just found.